While Prime Minister Christopher Luxon has condemned Iran's strikes on Israel, he was unable to say why New Zealand didn't condemn Israel when it attacked Iran's embassy.
Luxon made the comments on his first major overseas trip to Southeast Asia to strengthen ties. Political editor Jenna Lynch explains.
Inspecting Singapore's military guard as defence capability rockets to front of mind.
The reality is we're living in a more volatile, more uncertain, more complex, more ambiguous world. There's a lot more geostrategic competition, as you have all observed, and it's important that we actually deepen our relationships.
As the Prime Minister was en route to Singapore to deepen relationships in Southeast Asia, Iran fired hundreds of missiles at Israel. A message came through to the Defence Force as Luxon was in the air.
Clearly we condemn the actions of Iran. This is something quite different and it's quite a delicate moment in the history of the region.
Quick to condemn Iran, but when Israel attacked an Iranian embassy in Damascus, silence from New Zealand.
Well, again, what I just say to you is what we've seen is an Iranian strike, which is unprecedented from Iranian soil onto Israeli soil, and that is something that we just don't want to see an escalation in the region.
When Iran's embassy was hit, it warned of retaliation, the Prime Minister refusing to say whether Israel provoked Iran.
Again, I'm not getting into that. Again, our position is really clear.
Should there be a stronger condemnation from the West at that point?
Look, I mean, I think our position's very clear. Sitting here in New Zealand, what we want to see in that part of the world is actually peace and stability.
It's not the only part of the world that's feeling too volatile for comfort.
Nothing is going to solve the problems in the Middle East within the foreseeable future. They can be managed. You can try and calm things down. You can get people back onto a track talking about peace.
Singapore and New Zealand have a long-standing security relationship, something the PM is keen to build on.
We've historically had joint exercises, whether that's back home in New Zealand or whether that's overseas as well in the region, and I want to see that those things continue to deepen, frankly.
Newshub has learned that Singapore is interested in finding clear airspace, something New Zealand has plenty of for trialling unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. Would you be open to opening up our airspace for them to trial unmanned aerial vehicles?
Well, look, again, those are things that we'll continue to discuss. I'm up for deepening defence ties with Singapore, period. And so I'm up for any of that conversation.
So that's not a no?
Not a no, no.
Exploring every option to deepen security ties at a time we may need them most.
Well, Jenna joins us now. Kia ora, Jenna. So how much will the developments in the Middle East dominate the Prime Minister's trip?
A lot. It's clear everyone is deeply concerned about this escalation and where it may lead. In fact, New Zealand and Singapore today even agreed to start negotiating a pact which would protect supply chains in the event of a crisis. Read into that countries are starting to think about that sort of thing in the challenging geopolitical environment where countries are increasingly protectionist and we are facing an unpredictable world. Singaporean PM Lee urged small countries like New Zealand to stand up for our values and urge people to start talking, because if people go by the way of the sword, as he put it, that can only lead to calamity.
Jenna, tēnā koe.